You're watching Soulful Discussions. Ciao.
All right, so hi, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good, and you?
Doing great, doing great. How did we meet today? How did our class go?
Well, I was just chilling right there, charging my phone, just watching Rick and Morty.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I just got done watching the 6th season.
Okay,
So.
sweet, man.
And then you just came by. Normally when I sit there, people kind of come by, just ask like questions around the mall, like,
Yeah.
oh, do you know where like this is at, or do you know like where the restrooms are? So it's kind of just funny sitting right there because a lot of people just approach you.
Yeah, they probably think like maybe she works here or she's just on break or something like
Yeah.
that. So yeah, I definitely get that. What did I approach you about? Okay, I kind of came up to you. I gave you 3 topics that we're going to talk about.
Well, the music was kind of loud, so all I heard was mental health, and I didn't quite catch the other 2.
So your thoughts about the subject of feet, mental health, reflexology.
Feet,
Yeah,
mental health, and
reflexology.
reflexology.
Absolutely. So let me ask you this: when you hear the term feet, what comes to your mind first? First thing you think about. Be honest too. Don't feel free to just be honest.
Okay. When I think about feet, I genuinely question people who fetishize that.
You question them?
I question, because, like,
Because you're like,
feet.
why? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I understand that. Cool. I'm going to ask you questions today. There'll be some thoughts about how you feel about the subject of feet. Feel free to just answer however you like during those moments, okay?
Okay.
What about mental health? You hear that term? Does anything come to your mind or anything?
A lot, because personally, I struggle with a lot of mental health.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
So, like, personally, when it comes to mental health, like, it kind of just goes about, like, how you want to go about it, because therapy doesn't really help for a lot of people.
Yeah, not for everybody.
It's not for everybody, but it's definitely something you should try.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
something to get out your comfort zone, because, you know, you bottle everything in, and a bottle can't hold everything, so it's going to tend to overspill.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
then it just, things get out of hand, and people act upon what they keep thinking about.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, today we're going to ask you some questions about kind of like social media, the impacts it can have on like depression and anxiety. So just feel free to answer that like in that moment, okay? And then the last thing is reflexology. Does that sound familiar to you? Do you know what it is?
No.
Okay, I bet you know what it is. You probably just don't recognize the term.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you some information about that, and you can just tell me like, oh, do you agree with it? Do you think it's good? Whatever that may be. Okay. Sound good?
Yeah.
All right, ready to get going?
Yeah.
All right, good. First question is, what are your thoughts about how the world is starting to become more aware of mental health and what we're starting to do about it? How do you feel?
Okay, so when it comes to that, and like social media, is that a lot of people see other people dealing with it, so they become more open to it, and people realize it more, because we tend to hide a lot of it to make people think we're okay.
Absolutely.
Like when it, like an example to that, like my mom and my siblings, only like I feel like my brother understands because he went through it. And like my older sister doesn't really, because, you know, she never realized she had it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So people people share it on all over social media, and people get comfortable with realizing that it is an actual issue, and it's not just people overreacting or being dramatic. So it's a good thing that it came out.
Absolutely.
And
I think a lot of it was because of COVID, right?
Yeah.
People were like kind of in the house, and like
Isolated.
some of the things that like maybe we took for granted as like freedoms, that you can like go outside and go to the beach or go to the park, or you know, just go hang out with friends. Those things were things that like you couldn't really do anymore, and it was like, well, now what do I do, and like what's going on? So I definitely think it's a great thing that we're starting to like get in that right set of mind frame to like start talking about it. Absolutely. In terms of social media, right? First of all, what are your thoughts about it? And then secondly, how do you yourself use social media?
I use social media to like just share like the funny little things going on around.
Like memes and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Social media I just use for like the memes and to get away. And honestly, it does hold like a lot of information, like what you question about.
Yeah.
So, however, it can be really dark and scary.
That's the other side.
You don't know like who's behind that screen. Like you can tell a lie and everyone will believe you because it's over a screen.
Yeah. That's definitely so true. And I think that like it all depends on kind of how you use it, right? Because some people use it for positive things and businesses and things like that, while other people use it for getting likes, and it's all about that for them. So I mean, but I think as long as it's not detrimental to anybody else, then you should be back. Absolutely. In terms of social media, like a follow-up question to what I just asked. Let's say somebody came to you and they were like, hey, I'm going to give you the power to change something about it. Is there anything you would change? Do you feel like it's okay the way it is? Do you feel like people kind of need to change themselves more? What are your thoughts about that?
That's a good question. I wouldn't change anything, if you want me to be honest, because I feel like it balances out. Because then there's like, it kind of neutralizes each other. I don't know how to explain it.
The good and the bad is what you're saying, right? It's like there's a lot of good to it, there's a lot of bad, but like it evens out. It's not like it's like more overweight to one side. I get what you're saying. Definitely. Hey, look, and that's not the first time I've gotten that answer. Some people, I had one lady tell me that she's like, well, I feel like if I changed it, maybe things would get worse. Like maybe that one change like makes everything else bad. So yeah, absolutely, it's a good point there to me.
Yeah.
In terms of anxiety, and with this question, you don't have to go too in depth, just maybe more surface level things. Is there anything that brings you anxiety? And if so, when you feel anxiety happening, like what do you do to counteract the emotions?
I suffer with a lot of anxiety.
Okay.
So, for like personally for me, like anxiety kind of comes and goes because sometimes I can interact with people, and then there's some people like I just can't. And I'll feel very nervous and like my hands like cold sweat. I'll get very shaky and quiet. And weirdly, it affects my appetite as well. Like I won't really want to eat or I'll overeat, and it's never just being like normal. And I'm sure everybody has like that little part of anxiety where we all just kind of counteract it.
It's like all those different things that you have to do. I've had somebody tell me that they were like always doing interviews like, oh, exactly what I'm doing right now. Like I Twitter like with different things. I'm like messing around with stuff. They're kind of like what you're doing. Yeah, it's like those are things that like kind of like bring a more calmness to them. Or one of the things that I kind of do is grounding, like what I learned about like finding different things around you and like focusing on that. So like the sign over there is yellow. This type of music is playing, like it just kind of brings you back down to like understanding everything's fine. Like I might feel like this, but everything's good. So absolutely. All right, so let's get into these questions now. I'd be intrigued to see what your thoughts are about the question I'm gonna ask now. What are your thoughts about your feet? How do you feel about your feet?
I think my feet look fine.
Okay.
I do tend to like make fun of because of how long my toes look.
Oh, okay.
But it's a human body.
Exactly.
I can't exactly do anything. Like I can't shorten my fucking
You
feet to make
can't
them
change
look.
the way it is. That's the structure that you have. That's what you were meant to have, right? Absolutely. Let me ask you this: you ever received compliments? Has anybody ever told you, "Hey, nice feet"? Have you happened to you before?
No, because I don't really show my feet a lot. Like I wear like a lot of boots and like Vans, Converse.
Absolutely. Let me ask you this, okay? Let's just say hypothetically, you were out one day, you were wearing something, somebody did compliment you about that. In that moment, how would you feel about that? Like, what do you think would go through your mind?
I'd feel very like not weirded out, but just be like, that's kind of interesting.
You kind of said it earlier on.
Yeah.
I kind of question why people are into that. Okay. So you would be interested to know, like, well,
why do you find my feet?
It's interesting. Would you ask? Like, would you be like, well, why do you feel my feet nice? Or like, would you ask that?
If like I had the confidence to ask him.
Oh, okay. Sometimes like, it's like you're a little nervous.
Yeah, because if I do ask him and it could be like a totally different answer, like I didn't think why, I'd sit there and be so uncomfortable.
I see.
So it'd be like maybe it's best that I don't know, but maybe.
And I think this, right? So what I've heard is like an underlying thing a lot of times when I do is when they say it's all about how you give a compliment, because like sometimes people give compliments and they can come off as creepy,
like
whereas some people can just say, hey, you have nice feet, and they keep it pushing. They don't say anything else after that. That's it, right? Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Let me ask you this, not just about physical compliments, but compliments in general. What is something that when somebody compliments you about it, you're like, man, that really makes my day, makes me feel good? Do you have anything like that?
My smile.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't really get like many compliments on it. Like I do, but I don't really tend to like pay attention because I'd be like, oh, like it basically kind of comes into my anxiety and like my insecurities.
Okay.
Because out of my teeth, I have the one crooked tooth,
Yeah.
and people will just be like, "I love your smile," and I'll be like,
Yeah.
but like recently, I've been trying to like accept it more. Like it's a smile. Like it shows that I'm happy.
Let me ask you a question. You listen to J. Cole?
No.
Okay. Did you listen to a song that he has called "Crooked Smile"?
Okay.
And he actually kind of talks about that in the song, where it's like he didn't have braces and nothing like that. And he was like, but I keep that just to like let people know that I'm real. Like I can't change nothing. This is who I am. So like I think listen to that song, you will kind of get something from that. Absolutely. In terms of pedicures, how can you get pedicures?
Not really often, only because I feel like if I get pedicures, then what's the point of keeping a shoe or a sock? Because you paid money to like.
True, and
colors.
it's like you just gotta keep them in the shoe. Let me ask you this: like, do you not get pedicures because it's more about like, is it cost or is it just time? Is it? Like,
definitely not time, because I understand why it takes a while.
Yeah.
Cost.
Maybe a little bit.
Maybe a little bit.
They are kind of expensive.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well,
especially with like people you go to, like small businesses or just big companies or just the little places you find on the street.
Absolutely. Let me ask you this though. Let's say like cost wasn't a thing, and like you could go out and get a pedicure. Would you go out and get one? Like if you could just like.
No.
So you still wouldn't?
No, because I don't really wear like heels or sandals or like flats that show my feet. So what's the point
so
of?
your style is more on the style of
Like
boots
boots
like,
covers,
Okay.
bands.
Let me ask you this: like in terms of pedicures, have you ever heard of a medical pedicure?
I haven't heard of it, but I feel like I've seen it.
Okay. Maybe seen videos on YouTube or something
Yeah.
like that. So a medical pedicure is like going to see a podiatrist, a specialist of foot. What they'll do is they take a look at your feet to make sure your toenails are growing correctly. They check for like your toe alignment to make sure it's right. They check your feet for like dead skin, fungus. They do all the work there with like medical grade equipment. Basically, what they're there to do is just give you insight into like what's happening with your feet. Because like, for example, you go see a dentist, they tell you about your teeth. Like, hey, this is what's happening. You need to do this, you need to do that. Same thing for podiatrists. That's what they do for your feet. What would your thoughts be on saying somebody like that? Who, maybe it's not so much about cosmetic, but it's more about letting you know what's going on with your feet.
That's a good thing, because there's not really much things that we know that we need to be paying attention on, like feet.
Absolutely.
Like the medical pedicures, like I didn't know like what you mentioned. The first thing you mentioned was like if your toenails growing correctly, like.
Because some people, even when you go to like a nail shop, sometimes they can cut at the incorrect plane. Like everybody's grows differently. So like if you don't cut it correctly, that's how you end up with ingrown toenails, or it doesn't grow the same after a while. So like it's very important to like make sure you know like the correct way to cut it. So that's what they can kind of tell you about when you go there.
Yeah, I definitely think that's a good thing, just so people are more aware of it.
Nice. Okay. Let me ask you this. I mean, I kind of probably already know the answer. How often do you open toe shoes, sandals, flip flops? Because you pretty much just like.
I only wear them when like my mom really wants me to. Like if she'll just be like, please, like this once, and I'd be like, just this once.
She's like, we're going out somewhere important. Please, just put on some sandals.
Like I'll wear a really pretty dress that she asked me to, and I'll just come up wearing like my dirty old Converse, my dirty old Vans, or my boots, and she'll just be like, you know what? If she chooses the outfit, I choose the shoes, or if she chooses the shoes, I choose the outfit.
Wow, you guys.
So I kind of like I make it to where we both are satisfied, and I'm not just sitting there in something I'm not comfortable wearing.
Yeah. So let me ask you this: like, so your style would be considered to be more? Like, what would you consider? Like, you could give
more. Like a lot of people like it now only because it's like trending a lot on TikTok. Is like more of like emo or like punk goth.
I see.
Like metal, kind of like that
talks
stuff.
about going through a phase like that where she was like, it's like listening to like this type of music, and this is how I was dressing, and I had black lipstick, and I was just like, I can't imagine her like that now. And I see her, she's so bubbly and stuff. I'm like, really? Okay, but anyway, that's dope.
No. When it comes to that, like my siblings like grew me, like I grew up with them because my siblings grew up with them.
See.
So it's kind of like a style I love myself in.
You've been grounded in that style.
Yeah, and my mom is like, she's like that little bubbly character, but she loves the color black as well. She's like blue, gold, and I'm just, everything has to be all black. Like this is probably the one outfit I'll wear once in a while that's not all black.
That's dope. By the way, I didn't notice that what you had there, but that is
Thank you.
I love that. Yeah.
I think the back says, I can't remember it, but I think the back says that you can't kill us all. So it's like, I love that myself in that style because it's just like a little bit rebel. Because like there's a lot of like bad things in this world, and it's kind of like a point where we're all just happy with each other. We're all like content with what we're wearing.
Absolutely, very much so. In terms of like going barefoot, how often do you do that? How often do you go barefoot?
Honestly, when I'm just at home, like getting ready for bed, or like when I'm out of bed. That's pretty much it. Other than that, I'm not really barefoot anywhere, other than like the pool or beach.
Yeah, absolutely. Have you ever heard of earthing and grounding before? Is that familiar to you?
Kind of.
It's like going barefoot in like grass, dirt, sand. Like people do it to like, it's like a form of meditation. And like,
Yeah,
I was kind of telling you about it earlier, like with like recognizing things around you. That's a way to ground as well. But some people do it in a more like, physical sense where they actually go out, they like ground themselves in the environment that they're in. So like, yeah, would that be something you would try? Like maybe if you had a long day, you just go out, get a patch of grass.
Yeah, definitely with like sand, especially because it's so like.
It's like exfoliating too.
Yeah,
right?
it's very not itchy. Why would I say itchy? It's like it hits like a good certain itch spot.
Absolutely.
When you're just like stressed.
Absolutely. All right. So now, can we see what your feet look like?
Huh?
Can we see what your feet look like?
Like take off my shoe and my sock?
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, I guess.
Cool. All right. And let me ask you this: what size shoe do you wear?
I wear an 8.5 to 9.
8.5. So does it vary depending on the type of shoe you're wearing? Like if you're wearing a sandal, is it smaller?
Kind of, I guess.
All right.
If anything, it'd probably have to be a little bit bigger.
You can leave your socks on for now. Let me just get you to take those boots off. All right. And you said 8.5 to a 9, but if anything, it may be a little bit bigger. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Again, what I'm gonna have you do is, if you can you like maybe just scoot back just a little bit, and then so we can see the top. And then it looks like
I have a bunch of dog fur.
It's good. I got dog fur all over. My girlfriend has 2 dogs, cats, all that. It's all good. Okay, I'm trying to look at your alignment. Does your toes go from big to small, or is your second toe bigger?
My second toe meets just like a little bit.
Okay.
Like, so you can kind of see it peeking out.
Slightly longer.
Slightly longer,
okay.
Yeah.
So there's different toe alignments. I don't know if you know about them, but they have what's called like an Egyptian toe alignment. Your bigger toe is bigger. That's an Egyptian. If your second toe is bigger, it's called an Grecian, a Greek toe. So like when you go through Greece, a lot of the statues that they have, that second toe is like slightly longer than all the rest. That's a Greek toe. Absolutely.
Oh.
Cool. Let me get you, if you can just scoot back a little bit, and I'm just gonna have you put your feet out. Cool. Oh, just go right.
Oh,
A
like
little bit
back?
more. Oh, yeah, to the like. So you have your feet like on the edge. Yeah, there we go.
Okay.
Cool. All right, cool. And now you can take your socks off. Cool. All right, and then 8.5 to 9. And do you do your own? I didn't ask you that, but do you do your own self-care, like in terms of trimming, painting, stuff like that?
Sometimes I'll have my mom help out for like the inner part I can't grab.
Okay. Do you go with a certain color, like you
Black.
stick with black? She's like black.
Black.
Have you ever tried anything else, like a purple, white?
When I was little, I do like a lot of like red or like purple.
So you would switch it up, but now you're like.
When I was a kid.
Okay, I see. But now you're like, I'm sticking to this one.
Yeah.
Okay.
They kind of.
That's all good. Don't worry.
Kind of all grew out.
Yeah, that's fine. They're natural.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I guess.
Cool. All right, and then let me get you just the same way you were before, just kind of like scoot back a little bit, and then feet up straight like this. All right, so let me ask you this: how are you feeling in the moment? I know it's kind of like catching you off guard. Very
I never
nervous.
think I'd be doing this, especially in a mall I'm like constantly at.
But let me ask you a question. Like, you might have a couple of people looking, but you're doing your own thing, they're doing their own thing. Who really cares, right? All right, let me kind of get into the mental health. Look, got me starting shot, and then leave you feel. We'll go through a couple more exercises. Okay. So, first of all, have you ever heard of exposure therapy before?
I have.
Okay.
Yes.
So exposure therapy is for people like certain situations and scenarios you may feel uncomfortable, right? And you're like, well, I don't want to do this. Like, whether it be going to a theme park, right? You're like, I'll go to a theme park, but I'm not getting on any rides because I'm afraid of like what those rides feel like, right?
Mm-hmm. So
a therapist will tell you to do is like go out, do that thing over and over again, right? They want you to start to get used to like how you're feeling in those moments, right? In a moment, you may feel nervous, right? It's gonna happen. But you can learn to regulate your emotions so you can be like, okay, I'm feeling like this, but is anything happening that's threatening my life? Is anything threatening my safety? If not, then like, what are you worried about? Like, proceed with life because like, a lot of scenarios are there that like test see how far we're willing to go. Like, how if we can live life to the fullest, or do we like always stop when we get to that edge. We're like, nah, I'm gonna go back. So when I heard about that, I was like, wow, that's pretty dope. Like, I think that's a really dope concept. And so I wanted to start a YouTube channel where I go out and interview women about what they feel about the subject of feet. The reason why is because a lot of people feel weird about it, right? We kind of spoke about it a little bit. I don't understand the feel, but I'm gonna kind of explain to you what it's about now. But like, I want to go on and get people's emotions about that, how do you feel about it, because I get different reactions. I get some people are like completely open and they don't worry about anything. Some people overthink it, they're like, oh, well, I don't know. And some people are like, absolutely not, right? But my whole point of my channel is to show those reactions so that I can create a normal conversation around it so that people will see like, oh yeah, there's some people who feel like this, some people feel like that, but everybody's different.
Yeah, like not everybody's gonna have the same opinion.
Exactly.
Like you can't get the whole world to agree that like.
Not everybody's gonna agree with you. So the whole point of my channel is like, let's say for somebody who did like they like feet, right? That's a thing for what. They don't have to feel nervous or like anxious to tell anybody that because the way they're gonna be looked at, they can just go out and kind of do it, and people are not gonna like think anything of it. It becomes more normalized, and so that's what my whole channel is about, trying to create that normalized conversation through my interactions with women who are like open and men. So that's what it's all about. What are your thoughts about that? Like when I'm doing it?
Honestly, it's very like I get your point of like trying to make it like a normal conversation because. Like I said, like when you asked me that, I kind of found it a little weird.
Yeah, you're right.
But then people have their own interests.
Exactly.
People are human. You can't control who they are.
Exactly.
You bully into a person and be like, oh, exactly. It's a pretty cool concept.
Absolutely.
Like maybe if you called me like in a more different time, I probably wouldn't have been able to do this.
Yeah.
But then this is something kind of like it's like something new to try.
It's like something like almost a check off like your checklist of things like I did a YouTube video and it was like kind of outside of my comfort zone, but I did it, nothing bad happened or anything like that. Absolutely. Let's get into reflexology now first. Let me ask you this: how are you feeling right now in the moment?
I feel a little less anxious.
Absolutely. Well, because after I explained it, right? You're kind of like, oh, okay, now I understand. Absolutely. Not so much worried about people. I kind of saw you looking around a little bit at first.
Yeah.
Like, not as worried about it now, right? Absolutely. So let's talk about reflexology. Reflexology is actually about the different pressure points you have in your hands and your feet, right? So, for example, these pressure points actually correlate to different parts of our body. So like through a massage, through acupuncture, through acupressure, you can actually alleviate stress and tension to various parts of the body. So let's say you're somebody who deals with migraines, for example, right? It's actually a portion of your hands and your feet you can massage that will alleviate the tension you feel in those moments, right? It doesn't make it go away instantly, but it's something that over time you start to feel it less, right? There's also a piercing you can get in your ear does the exact same thing. What are your thoughts about that kind of reflexology, what it can do from a more holistic standpoint with helping people out? What are your thoughts about that? Does it sound familiar enough? Because I think you were at first
a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, sometimes you see the charts, sometimes you're in the mall or you go to
yeah, my mom actually, she loves sending me these posts about acupuncture points because she has a lot of migraines and so do I. I think mine tend to be just a little bit worse than hers are. She's always telling me that you gotta massage one point of your hand.
It's right there. Yeah, it's right there. Yeah. You press there, you massage it in a certain motion. Absolutely.
Sometimes I have a very 50-50 opinion with that because I feel sometimes it doesn't work and then I kind of just feel a psychology thing.
Okay.
It's you make it feel the more you focus on this, the less you focus on the migraine.
That is part of it, yeah, absolutely.
But then I see how when people actually do it, it actually helps them.
It actually helps, and so here's the thing though, some people too, it may not work for you in your hands, but there's actually a portion of your feet, like I said, you can massage, it's the same thing. So if you lift your feet up, just do this real quick. At the base of your big toe, right in here, if you apply pressure there, circular motion, does the exact same thing. Absolutely. So yeah, maybe something that's helpful for you.
Yeah.
So in the future. And your mom, you said she does that as well.
Yeah.
Cool. So when we get to reflexology, we usually talk about sensitivity. I'll take this sensitivity on a sensitive scale, 1 to 10.
Sensitivity, on my
on feet.
On my feet? I don't have that much sensitivity other than the major bottom of the feet tickle spot.
Okay, cool. I do have a trick for you. So if you ever go get pedicures, so some people when they get the pedicures, the pumice stone,
Scubbing,
they do this, it's really ticklish for them. I have a trick for you to help you with that. Do you mind if you test me? Is that cool?
Sure.
I'm using a tool too. I'm not using my hand.
Okay, no, sure.
All right, let me get you to just kind of go back a little bit, toes up real quick, and we'll use the tool real quick. And then what I want you to do is tell me the spot that's the most sensitive and tell me where you feel it at the most, okay? All right, so toes up, kind of like this. All right, so we're gonna start at the right. Tell me where you feel it at the most, okay? Where do you feel it at the most? Is it right? Was it right when I got to the middle?
Yeah.
All right, what about down here? Do you feel it at all?
Like,
So
on
like
the
right
second.
there. Okay, cool. Tell me if your left is worse and then I'm gonna show you the trick, okay? Here we go. Ready? Cool. This one worse or less?
It's a little worse.
A little worse? Okay. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to wiggle your toes while I'm doing it. You tell me if you feel it more or less. You feel it more or less?
Less.
Do you know why?
No, because
You talked about it earlier. You mentioned it when you were talking about the spot. That's part of it.
you're focusing on something else.
Mentally, you're like, wiggle my toes, right? So it's almost like I'm not paying attention to that anymore, right? But also at the same time, because you're moving your toes, it moves the energy from spot to spot, so you can't feel it in that one section right there. Absolutely. Let's try your left. Tell me, because you said this one was worse. Wiggle your toes here, all right? And tell me, is it less or more?
A little less.
A little less?
Yeah,
That's
it like
great.
it still tickles, but it's not something.
It's not something that's like overbearing where you're like, oh God, like I gotta move for something. That's
Yeah.
great. That's great. Okay, cool. I'm gonna get you to do a couple exercises with your feet. This is just to test the dexterity and flexibility you have. I can give you some help with that too if you don't have very great dexterity and flexibility. Okay? Toes back up like this. Let me just get you from that section. Bend your toes, make a fist. Tell me if you feel pain, discomfort, cramping, anything happening there. Pretty easy to do. Okay, relax. Spread your toes. Tell me if you feel pain or discomfort. Okay, that's a little harder to do.
No,
Okay.
I can do that. It's just I have like a huge funny thing where these two go more out.
They go
than the
more
red.
out. Okay, try to do it. Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I'm gonna teach you like what you can do to like make the rest of them move in the same way. Okay, toes back up, and then the last thing, just wiggle your toes for about 10 seconds. Tell me if you feel pain, discomfort, cramping, anything happening. Easy to do. Okay, cool. So here's what you do, and that's one. If you want to put your super socks on, you can too. So one of the things you can do in the mornings, is you can take a golf ball or a tennis ball, roll your foot across it, like just in the morning. What it does is it loosens up like the different muscles, the different tendons, all those different things that you have down there, and start to loosen it up. Also, just practice some of those movements like more, because one of the things you mentioned, you're like, well, my other toes do this, right? But how often do you actually spread your toes?
Not very often.
Not very often. If you were to try to practice to do it more, you'll start to see like over time, because it's like a muscle, right? If you work out, you constantly like do this motion, of course you're gonna get stronger in doing that. So it's the same thing like with the different tendons and stuff you have in your feet. Absolutely. All right, so let's wrap up the interview now. In terms of my approach, first of all, coming up to you and you're sitting there asking you to interview, did you find my approach to be good? Was it bad? What did you think about my approach?
It was good. It was definitely approachable.
Okay.
For someone like myself who doesn't really like when people approach her, or like when I approach people back, like it was a good a good approach for me to like talk to you and not be like in a leave me alone mood.
So yeah, don't bother me right
like
now.
just don't bother me.
In terms of like the interview, right, from start to finish, could you see now how everything was going in line? Did it make sense to you? Did you learn anything new from the information I was telling you about?
I did learn the I brain farted, sorry.
Oh, that's
I did
okay, that's
learn
okay.
where like the exposure therapy like actually helps people right now. Like I'm okay like when it comes to the exposure therapy, like what we just did right now,
Yeah.
like for someone who's not really comfortable like showing my feet and being in a well-known place, because
Yeah,
I
that's
used to
big.
work here,
Yeah.
so I'm like constantly here,
Interesting.
that I just like openly just put my feet out.
But let me ask you this: did anything happen? Did the sky fall? Did it, like
No.
nothing happened, right? And it's
No.
like, so it's like this is what I kind of try to do through like what I'm doing right now. Also, the last thing I always ask, right, from a mental health standpoint, a life lesson that maybe you learn, some wise words that maybe somebody shared with you that you can share on my channel that can help. And it could be anything.
Is that like life is life, like shit happens, you either like it's either it comes to that, or like you make your own bed, like you lay in it, like it's basically like a consequence of your own actions, and like sometimes like things just aren't your fault.
Very true.
And even though you took part of it and it feels like it is, it's not.
Nice, nice. Well, thank you so much. I definitely appreciate you stopping to do this interview with us. All right. We hope that you have a great one. Happy holidays.
Thank you, you
All
too.
right.